The door was as before, opened a tiny crack, and again 2 sharp and suspicious eyes stared at him out of the darkness. Then Raskolnikov lost his head and nearly made a great mistake. Fearing the old woman would be frightened by their being alone, and not hoping that the sight of him would disarm her suspicions, he took hold of the door and drew it towards him to prevent the old woman from attempting to shut it again. Seeing this, she did not pull the door back, but she did not let the handle go, so that he almost dragged her out with it onto the stairs. Seeing that she was standing in the doorway and not allowing him to pass, he advanced straight upon her. She stepped back in alarm, tried to say something, but seemed unable to speak, and stared with open eyes at him. "Good evening, Alyona Ivanovna," he began, trying to speak easily, but his voice would not obey him. It broke and shook. "I have come. I have brought something. But we'd better come in to the light." And leaving her, he passed straight into the room uninvited. The old woman ran after him. Her tongue was unloosed. "Good heavens! What it is? Who is it? What do you want?" "Why, Alyona Ivanovna, you know me, Raskolnikov. Here, I brought the pledge I promised the other day." And he held out the pledge. The old woman glanced for a moment at the pledge, but at once stared in the eyes of her uninvited visitor. She looked intently, maliciously, and mistrustfully. A minute passed. He even fancied something like a sneer in her eyes, as though she had finally already guessed it, everything. He felt that he was losing his head, that he was almost frightened, so frightened that if she were to look like that and not say another word for another half-minute, he thought he would have run away from her. "Why do you look at me as though you do not know me?" he said suddenly, and also with malice. "Take it if you like. If not, I'll go elsewhere. I'm in a hurry." He had not even thought of saying this, but it was said of itself. The old woman recovered, and her visitor's resolute tone evidently restored her confidence. "But why, my good sir, all of a minute? What is it?" she asked, looking at the pledge. "The silver cigarette case. I spoke of it last time, you know." She held out her hand. "But how pale you are, to be sure, and your hands are trembling. Have you been bathing or what?" "Fever," he answered abruptly. "You can't help getting pale. If you've nothing to eat," he added with difficulty, articulating the words. His strength was failing him again, but his answer sounded like the truth. The old woman took the pledge. "What is it?" she asked once more, scanning Raskolnikov intently and weighing the pledge in her hand. "A thing. Cigarette case. Silver. Look at it." "It does not seem somehow like silver. Oh, how he has wrapped it up!" Trying to untie the string and turning to the window, to the light. All her windows were shut in spite of the stifling heat. She left him altogether for some seconds and stood with her back to him. He unbuttoned his coat and freed the axe from the noose, but did not yet take it out altogether, simply holding it in his right hand under the coat. His hands were fearfully weak. He felt them every moment growing more numb and more wooden. He was afraid he would let the axe slip and fall. A sudden giddiness came over him. "But what has he tied it up like this for?" the old woman cried with vexation and moved towards him. He had not a pulled the axe quite out, swung it with both arms, scarcely conscious of himself, and almost without effort, almost mechanically, brought the blunt side down on her head. He seemed not to use his own strength in this, but as soon as he had once brought the axe down, his strength returned to him. The old woman was, as always, bareheaded. Her thin, light hair, streaked with gray, thickly smeared with grease, was plaited in a rat's tail and fastened by a broken horn comb, which stood out on the nape of her neck. As she was so short, the blow fell on the very top of her skull. She cried out, but very faintly, and suddenly sank all of a heap on the floor, raising her hands to her head. In one hand, she still held the pledge. Then he dealt her another and another blow with the blunt side, and on the same spot the blood gushed as from an overturned glass. The body fell. He stepped back, let it fall, and at once bent over her face. She was dead. Her eyes seemed to be staring out of their sockets. The brow and the whole face were drawn.